Greetings everyone, my name is FlareBlitzed and welcome back to Chemically Bonded. Mischief with Naomi last time, but hopefully things will go a little bit better this time around. Swinging the door open to enter my room, but then again it is Naomi after all, so it may not be. A mild breeze wafts from the window, rustling around the loose papers strewn across my desk. Without a care, I sling my bag onto the bed beside me, opting to take a seat at my desk once again. After quite an eventful day, it's safe to say a rest like this is well deserved. But it's not as if I don't have any work to do. What with Naomi's demands and Kiyoko's, well... flashback?
What are you?
Sorry. Yeah, very sorry. From the outside, Kiyoko didn't seem like she had... Okay, but after seeing her like that... Besides that, the science club itself was rather enjoyable. It's certainly a change from what I was used to. Finding something to take interest in has distracted me from my own uncertainties. Still, with Naomi on my case, maybe there's a lot more to being involved with Kiyoko than I thought. By choosing to stay with Kiyoko, I've chosen not to get involved with the issues surrounding her and Naomi, at least for now. Something within me wants to find out what exactly caused this situation, and what my role in it is. Either way, the problem itself isn't going to disappear. As much as there's two sides to every story, part of me is reluctant to trust Naomi just yet. Whether that was wise, I'll just have to find out. It's not too late to change my mind, but by doing so, I'll be a part of something I only stumbled upon by chance. Gathering the scattered papers from around my desk, I feel that the time has come to at least try to get work done, even if I dislike it. The sounds of daily life outside acting as a melodical backdrop to my own existence. It really isn't that special. Placing a pen upon paper, the chimes of ring reaches out from my phone, causing me slight alarm. I don't normally expect people to actually call me in an era of messaging and social media, but it's Kiyoko. Bringing the phone closer, it's no surprise who the calling culprit was. Honestly, it was fairly predictable. It's tempting to answer it, but honestly, she chose the worst time to call. I'm fairly busy right now. This work actually needs to be done. It's not like I don't want to speak to her, but I'm sure with her intellect she'd opt to do some work too. At least I think so. It's hard to gauge how much work she actually does, considering she seems to know almost everything. Another choice. Yeah, we'll answer. Greetings, Kiyoko. Hey. My response rather apathic. Contrasts her own usual bright attitude. I wonder what she wants.
Did you enjoy the club today?
I sure did. Kiyoko's question, a rather simple one to answer normally, feels a bit wrong to answer today. Given the situation she'd found herself in earlier, being overly enthusiastic about it might give her the wrong idea. On the other hand, saying I didn't enjoy it would both upset her and be a lie too. I don't know how to answer.
It was good, right?
Pondering in your own thoughts, huh? Yeah. Following her prompts on the other hand surely won't get me into trouble. You say that now? I wasn't talking about that.
It's a joke.
It's rather odd she's now finding humour out of a situation, given her reaction earlier. Thankfully she's not one to hold a grudge, even though I went in thinking she'd hurt us.
But really, you're not a pervert, are you?
No, of course not. Stout's honour, I'm not one. No, I'm not. I just stumbled upon that situation when you screamed, and then that's a prompt when a friend should come and help out and see what the situation is because of your scream. Maybe she still is a little worked up about it after all, sorry, but then again, what girl wouldn't be?
Good. I'm glad you're enjoying the club.
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying it too.
Lovely. She sounds happy, almost embarrassed even, but I can't really tell what sort of expression she's making. However, it's guaranteed that she feels this way. What with spending that much time looking for members alone, I guess she's finally had a chance to live her dream of the club, even though technically we'd still need another 3 members. If she's enjoying it this much, then I can't say declining Naomi's offer to abandon Kiyoko was truly a bad choice. Staying in the dark about a topic I shouldn't even be involved in is nothing to complain about. If I'm with her, then Naomi can't really do much herself.
Having another member, it's nice. Even if you're not interested in science.
What are you saying?
Thank you.
Of course we're interested in the subject, that's why we came along initially. Question mark. And somehow our battery is always at 68%. Gracefully thanking me, Kiyoko trails off into silence, a brief moment to reflect on her words. I think it's nice too. I want to be doubting my choices if I didn't. It's not as if I'm not interested, I'm just not that clever.
Neither am I. But science is everything to me.
Wait, hold the phone, genius. You say that you're not clever? I don't think I could come up with a bigger understatement. Still, I'm pretty interested.
What's the atomic mass of palladium then?
Questioning me, it seems like Kiyoko's forgot that I just told her that I'm not at all clever. I don't see how quizzing me proves whether or not I'm interested. I don't know, 40?
You had 2 digits right. But I'll forgive you this time.
What was it then?
106.4.
So not only are there whole numbers, but there's small numbers. I wouldn't call that getting them right.
It's okay though. I'll just have to make you like science.
Isn't that the same as converting? Cheerfully ending her sentence with a laugh, I can't help but feel a little bit fearful at that. I just want to be good friends with science. With Kiyoko, I mean. For her to say it though, her claim of happiness from having a fellow member certainly stands true. It's something we can both share. Unless Kiyoko went too far with Naomi because she also wanted her to be a member of the science club. Having something to do after school, being able to attend the club, it's nice. Maybe I can share her ambition.
Anyway, I have to go. Dinner's ready.
Same here, I was doing homework. I was in the middle of doing work anyway, so it's alright, Kiyoko. I'm not sure whether that sounded rude or not, but it is the truth. Close enough to it anyway. I was planning on working.
I'm not doing work, but this is important.
I have no response to that. The only reason I'm not doing it is because you called me. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow, Kiyoko.
Bye.
Bye-bye for now. Now silent, the phone rests against my ear as I take a minute to reflect on our conversation. The evening sun seeps through my window, warming my cheeks ever so slightly. It's clear that the science club is close to Kiyoko's heart, 1 small room and 2 people, even if I didn't intend to join. After all, I only told I'd try it out, but now that I think we both feel that anything different would fill our place. Resting my phone back against my desk, I lean back in my chair, as indifferent to doing work as I was before Kiyoko's call. Choosing to stay with Kiyoko isn't at all anything to feel bad about. Letting her down after hearing an outburst of happiness like that would make me feel bad. However, I can't deny that there's tensions between her and Naomi. I can't deny wanting to know either. It's something that's bugging me. It's okay though. I'll just have to make you love science. Why are you there, Naomi? 8:25 AM. There's a 24-hour clock. Why are you there? Tranquility greets me as I stumble upon the classroom in a state of almost pure silence. It's early, sure, but knowing my lack of empathy towards being here, it's a surprise to find the room almost empty. Without the science club, moreover, if it wasn't for Kiyoko, I wouldn't be able to find the will to arrive at class this far in advance. Despite being marginally earlier than normal, it's still enough for it to be noticeable. It has a clear effect on my actions. The culprit herself, of course, is one of the only other people to be present in this sparse morning environment.
Good morning.
Hello, Kiyoko. Good morning, Kiyoko. That chirpy expression is enough to make me smile in accord. Thinking that we've gotten this used to each other in so little time is a funny fact in itself. Given that thinking back on my actions from yesterday really puts the scene into perspective. You again. I can't just walk out on Kiyoko like that. Weren't you the one who told me to stay away from her?
That's because...
Yeah, exactly. You're not willing to tell. I'm not going to skip the club for you. The thought of accepting Naomi's plea has admittedly been bugging me since. However, turning my back on Kiyoko just isn't the right thing to do. If it's really important enough, Naomi would give in and tell me. I might want to know about it, but for her to make that offer, she must want me to know too. Being here for Kiyoko is just something I should be doing as her friend.
What are you thinking about?
Nothing at all. Do not worry, Kiyoko. Oh, nothing. A lot, actually, but telling her about my dealings with Naomi isn't something I think she'd want to know. Or rather, I don't think she'd be happy knowing.
Come on, then. Class is about to start.
Okay, are you going to complain like last time about how the science teacher isn't using the correct equipment to be able to measure stuff? Anyways, somehow over the short span of our conversation, the number of students in the room have increased significantly. An aura of activity now resides around me as various conversations waver in and out throughout the room. Leaving with nothing less than a slight wave, her response is another warm smile as I make my way over toward my desk. The lull of classes is a good enough break to think over my situation with Kiyoko and Naomi. I've made my decision. Sitting down and stretching, a selection of the morning's conversations make their way to my ears. I'd assume it'd be like this if I sat behind Kiyoko.
That's me. Did you hear?
Hear about what?
Hear what?
Yeah.
Apparently, we have a new economics teacher.
So that's what they're excited about. The only reason why we even study economics is because of this business-oriented country. It's not as if I aspire to be an investor. It's a good thing to understand, though. I'm happy enough that going about my life without any particular sense of direction. Being at school is enough as it is. Things like this make me wonder what Kiyoko's plans to do with her own life.
Really? I wonder what they're like.
Time drags forward as the class waits around for the new teacher. Perhaps they're just nervous about teaching a new class. But then again, it is their job. Soon enough, a suited man makes his way into the class with a rather lax, but albeit still firm expression. This must be our new teacher by the looks of it. I'd be pretty concerned if a school had let a stranger make it this far into a school. Yeah, exactly.
Hello, class. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves this morning.
Well, haven't you got the wonderfully kept beard, sir?
Unlike your other teachers, I aim to actually teach you something.
Whoa.
Even if you aren't that interesting.
Okay, but you put that rather blunt and straightforward. He looks over at one of my classmates at the front of the room, sprawled over his desk for a quick nap. I know it's early and economics isn't really that interesting, but it's still worth paying attention. If I study hard enough, one day I might become the Kiyoko of economics. Yeah, you really? Turning to face the board, the new teacher grabs a stick of chalk from the desk to scrawl his name on the board. Being known as the teacher isn't in his best interests. Even teachers have to introduce themselves. Mr.
You can call
Kaba.
me Mr. Kabir,
Kabir.
and I trust that you all will.
Thank you, Mr. Kabir. He must have heard what we called Mr. Yamamoto. Something along the lines of hermit crab. We are pretty blank students.
Turn your textbooks to page 15. We'll get started with some questions.
Hopefully I don't get picked. But then again, if you look like that you don't want to get picked, it usually ends up you being picked. Most likely being picked first. Yes, let's not. Hopefully I don't get picked. It might not be along the lines of knowing the structure of a mitochondrium. I don't get it. But I still don't feel like answering. Haphazardly flickering through the pages of my book, I noticed Mr. Kabir panning his eyes across the list in the class. He doesn't know us, so he must be choosing someone at random for the rooster. Please, don't call on me. I don't want to do this gag again.
Ishikawa, answer the question at the bottom of the page.
I think that is us, isn't it? Ah, okay.
Sure.
My bad. That's how badly I remember stuff. You're the only Ishikawa in the class. Springing from her seat with a smile on her face, Kiyoko scans the book before her to find the question set upon her.
In a flea market, prices adjust to reconcile scarcity and desires.
Kyoko's response, a chirpy and cute proclamation of something so mundane, brings a smile to my face. My economics class can't be this cute.
That's right. Your previous teacher must have taught you well.
Or maybe it's just the student herself. Or more likely, it's Kiyoko. Either way, he doesn't seem like a bad guy. I might not enjoy economics, but I don't think I'll hate his lessons. Yeah, why not? Class quickly reaches an end after the lunch bell chimes throughout the room. Having a class be this long is pretty unusual, but in the end, some of it was pretty interesting. Lava G spans across the room as those around me begin packing their bags, ready to leave for lunch.
Remember, class, sometimes in life we have to make tough decisions.
Correct.
Investing in stocks isn't easy. Trust me.
Trust me, I am an economics master. It sounds like he's had experience, yeah. Right now, I too face a pretty rough decision. I'm still rather uneasy about the choice I made yesterday. The thought of leaving Kiyoko behind still pains through me. From the outside, staying with Kiyoko is the right option, but not giving Naomi a chance either is certainly sticking with me. Asking him for advice couldn't hurt. People funnel out of the class one by one as I approach Mr. Kabir's desk, making sure to check if Kiyoko has left too. Surprisingly, she has. I thought she would have stayed behind, but she does have her own life after all. Mr. Kabir glances towards me as I now confront him, the two of us alone in the classroom. Sir, I have a question.
Ask ahead. But please keep it brief. I have to leave soon.
Most certainly. Okay, I was thinking about what you said about decisions.
Yes. Decisions can be tough.
Yep. I've made a decision, but I'm not sure if I should go back on it. I can't help but be vague. He probably wouldn't be interested in what's going on with Kiyoko and Naomi, but asking for his advice on it might prove to be useful. Well, just keep their names out of it and just explain the situation.
I think you should just go with your gut. It might sound stupid, but there's something inside you telling you what to do. Listen to it.
Yeah. That kind of makes sense. Okay. Thank you, sir.
No problem. I hope you enjoyed today's class.
Not necessarily, but it wasn't that bad. Speaking with him too has given me a little sense of my situation as well. Mr. Kabir goes back to sorting the papers on his desk as I make my way into the corridor to head off to lunch, despite being pretty late now. In the end, I'll have to come to make a decision eventually. The corridor is empty as I trace my way down it to have lunch in the sliver of time left. I should have time to get a small bite to eat. A small bite. Afternoon class has come to an end rather quickly, presenting me with the opportune moment of making my final choice. Either I go Kiyoko now to the science club, or come up with an excuse so I can trundle off with Naomi to hear what she has to say. As seats around me become increasingly vacant, I too rise from my seat, ready to make my decision. We've already told her that we'll be there, but it could be like a sudden development. Nah, I'm gonna go with what we call the safe option. I can't bear to leave Kiyoko behind. Siding with someone who openly strangled me, I think that going to the science club is the right choice. If Kiyoko wanted me to know about Naomi, then she'd tell me. Similarly, if Naomi wants to tell me, she'd be direct about it. Yeah, exactly. She wanted to tell us yesterday, but she was like, no, you have to sacrifice your time with Kiyoko in order to know about what I know. Kiyoko turns to face me as I continue my way towards her desk at the front of the class. It's that smile. The smile built upon our club activities that kept me from going. From hearing her efforts to find a clubmate, turning my back on it would be the wrong thing to do. The entire thing is such a non-issue, but still, who wouldn't spend time with a cute girl after class?
What's that expression for? Are you excited for the club?
Yes! Of course I am. I'm a member after all. Yeah, let's go! I made the right choice. I feel like there's going to be a bad path here. Sometimes in life we have to make tough decisions. Indeed we do. Having just passed the end of the day... having just passed, the end of the school day marks the beginning of the serene atmosphere that now surrounds us. By my side, Kiyoko cheerfully walks along as we trace our way towards the science labs once again. Provided the stairwells, and thus the mass of students heading home, are on the other side of the corridor. Being here is peaceful, especially when I'm with Kiyoko. Taking the decision not to intervene between her and Naomi's business, being able to see her as happy as her usual self spreads a sense of well-being. Soon enough I feel our friendship will progress to the point where she's willing to tell me about it. Exactly what I'd call their state of affairs. Serene around behind her, the strands of her dark hair loose from her ponytail shine in the light gleaming from the windows lined alongside us. With that familiar smile still on her face, Kiyoko turns to me, ready to speak up. It's a smile I've become accustomed to, and one which I'm happy to see.
What should we do today? We didn't get to do the experiment yesterday.
Yeah, it kind of went a bit poof. Filled with various emotions, her sentence brings back memories I think we're both better off forgetting. Well, she doesn't seem that phased now, but I still feel pretty awkward about it. What about... What's one of those?
Ah, that's a great idea.
I'm only recalling what I saw in her notebook with most things sciencey. I don't know how to do a titration, but I think we did it in class once. Wait, really? Seeing Kiyoko this eager over one of my ill-informed suggestions brings a warmth to my heart, but surely she can come up with something better. Still, who am I to object? She's the club's captain.
Of course it is. You should really have more faith in yourself.
Thanks. Having her chastise me, even in jest, still feels kind of weird. As long as she's happy with it, then I don't really have any problems. Kiyoko swings back around, the two of us now facing the door to the lab, only for it to be slid open by her presumably soft fingers. I'd imagine she's enjoying herself, but her faint humming sells that point. An instant melody fills the space around us with a tune to reflect both our feelings. We both enjoy being here. It'd be lie to say otherwise. The pressure from before had fleeted. All I should really care about is savouring the moment. I'm a member of the club. That's it. Joining Kiyoko inside, I watch as she prances around the room, grabbing bits and pieces to set up her experiment. Somehow slipping on her blazer and lab coat amidst all the kerfuffle.
We're going to have fun today, right?
We sure are, Kiyoko. Regardless of my own contributions to the club, the fact of the matter is, I still find it fun, It's good to know she does too. Still, Kiyoko seems overly filled with passion for something she's been doing for all this time. Science must mean a lot to her. For me to have feelings like that, it'd be good. It'd be good to have passion. You seem pretty excited.
But that's because I am.
A jitter, a stutter, whatever you want to call it, something isn't right about that. The glow of exhilaration that normally shines from her brown eyes has since been replaced with a look of despondency. She's sad? You okay?
I'm fine. Come on.
There's something going on here. Woven between her words, unsteady breathing pokes through, revealing her true emotion. Her strong and short responses contrast the earlier upbeat and bouncy personality I know so well. It's not normal to see Kiyoko like this, at least not for me. I've only been friends with her for a short amount of time, but I still have the right to be concerned. Turning to face the window, now neglecting her previous intentions of setting up an experiment, the continued agony of listening to her silence stings me inside. She's not trying to hide the fact that something was wrong. Kiyoko?
Please.
The cause. Could it be? There's something I want to talk to you about, Kiyoko. I can't know I'm right, but the emotions inside are taking me in that direction.
You were going to find out eventually.
About what? Perhaps in the end, her overly excited attitude was just a front, a distraction from this topic. She said it before, she'd rather not go into it. However, ultimately, it's just something that needs to be addressed. Naomi.
I knew you wouldn't let up. I saw you with her yesterday.
Is that what you're negative about?
It's Naomi, isn't it?
As she turns to face me once again, the happy and carefree expression I'm used to seeing from her has been masked by her inner sadness at a moment's notice. How these feelings have resonated. What the problem is, I need to find out. I need to know how to make her smile again. You saw me with her? How? Denying the fact I was with Naomi would cause more harm than good. Severing my bond with Kiyoko is not in my interests. She's pretty smart, but I can't think of when she would have saw us. Naomi had long left by the time Kiyoko had come out and met me.
The lab looks over the school entrance.
So that's what it was. You were midway clean and then you saw the both of us.
You two were there yesterday. Together.
They don't need confirming, but I don't stop myself from walking towards the window to join Kiyoko at her side. A brief glance downwards confirms her words. I am an idiot for not noticing before. Here I stand, together with a girl struck by a sense of woo. I don't want this to happen. I chose not to find out. I chose to be with her. I wanted her to be happy.
We should just drop it. She isn't a nice person anymore.
Facing me again, Kyoko's glum expression coats her face as she looks back in a state of sadness. For what she said, there must be more behind it. Naomi must mean something to her. To be this upset, this hurt. You were friends, right? The only other scenario I can come up with is that Naomi is actually bullying her. But you seem so acquainted with one another, so it's not unreasonable to suggest it. Kiyoko did just say she used to be a nice person. If she were being bullied, surely someone other than me would have noticed. The pair are pretty famous around the school, both for different reasons. Due to my words, Kiyoko looks towards the floor as she moves around her feet to mull over my question. Her breath, still ragged with anxiety, screams out from the silence. Despite being ever so gentle to the ear, seeing her like that still hurts.
You could see that. She was a friend to me, but things have changed. I don't really want to get into it.
The piece of Kyoko's past resonates through her words and the emotions she's put out towards me. It's clear that she and Naomi were once on good terms. Something must have happened to break them apart, to break their bonds. There must be a reason behind it. Kiyoko and Naomi still haven't gotten over their own shortcomings. Both of them still hold into their past. Wiping her eyes dry, clearing her sadness, Kiyoko pulls a smile as she brings her hands to her chest to feign a recovery.
Don't worry, it's nothing.
I don't believe that. It could be that she's caught onto my own subdued aura, but she's trying her best to avoid talking about it. No matter what, she hasn't gotten over what's happened, and I don't think she'll be telling me anytime soon. I'll just have to speak to Naomi. She might be a little reluctant to talk after I turned her offer to meet her down, but in the end I want to know the entire story. that's bad, it's something I can accept. If that's bad, sorry. I don't want Kiyoko to have these feelings anymore. Anyway, you wanted to do that, right?
That's right.
When it comes down to it, I'm just as much of a member of the science club as she is. More so, I'm her friend. If there's anything you need me to do, let me know. You didn't create the club for nothing, right? Smiling once again, a slight breeze from the window tousles Kiyoko's fringe as I wait for a response. It's a sight I'm happy to see. Moments ago I had longed for this sight. Her own happiness.
Just be here for me.
Okay. Yeah. There's a definite unease here. Clouds float through the evening sky as I watch nature paint a scenario in the outside world. The sky getting darker as the sun slowly creeps towards the horizon. It's a sign that our club activities are coming to an end for another day. Once again, we're finished. Me not doing much but watch Kiyoko as she ran around doing her experiment, but it was fun.
That was fun.
Repeating my thoughts, Kiyoko's once glum and melancholic aura has now returned to her usual eccentric one. Whether she's still faking it or truly feels this way, I'm unsure. One thing I am sure though is that she too enjoys the club. Seeing her upbeat brings a mild sense of closure to the worries of the day. This feeling can't last for long though. It's a shame I couldn't do anything though.
You can if you want. But it's your fault if you break something.
Yes, Kiyoko. Those giggles are unfitting, since she was the one who almost killed us yesterday. But, nevertheless, they're still cute. Resting her lab coat at the side of the room in her usual manner, Kiyoko turns to smile at me again, ready for us to head off home. Shall we go?
No! Let's just stay here for the next 16 hours until school starts tomorrow.
Is that your idea of a joke? That's a joke, right?
But it'd be fun.
I guess. Spending time with her overnight, I'm not sure how I'd actually feel about it. A scenario that's probably gone through most guys' head. Even if it's a joke, it still seems like something odd for her to say, yeah. Walking out together, she swings her arms blissfully as if our conversation earlier hadn't even happened. Ignorant of her problems. In a way, I feel the same. Being able to have these memories is something I think we can both cherish, without having to face the burdens of our past. Nevertheless, I'm going to have to speak to Naomi. I'm going to have to go into their past. Let's just hope she's willing to speak to me. She isn't a nice person anymore. Okay. Sounds of chatter resonate from the spectral plane around me as a hazy figure drifts in and out of view. Where am I? The sounds begin to fleet, yet one distinct voice makes itself out to me.
Wake
girl.
up!
What? Jolting my eyes open, Kiyoko stands before me with how do we get here? Is this already the morning?
Just what are you doing falling asleep in class?
Waiting for class to start? I'm sorry. Maybe this is a dream. Rather than focusing on the obvious cliché, Kiyoko looks onwards with pity as I slump myself upright against my chair. Yikes. Big yikes. Oh, no, not that one. Wait a minute. Well, damn me. I was only trying to take a screenshot, that was all. For goodness sakes. At least has an effective recording. What I should take away from this is that I really need to rethink my sleeping pattern. Anyway, what is it, Kiyoko?
I need a fever.
This isn't something you normally ask. Kiyoko uncharacteristically looks on with a childish pout as she stands above me awaiting my response. So far she's been helping me, with what giving me a purpose to stay behind after school. She's been a friend. But what is it?
Wake up.
Oh, yeah, I thought this might be a dream, given the surroundings. Ah,
Did you have a good sleep?
I sure did. So it was a dream. Stares from my fellow classmates greet me from my slumber as Mr. Kamura stands before me with an agitated glare pointed right at me. Even Kiyoko, looking back from the front of the class, can't help but stifle a
If
little.
you're after a nap, I hear that the corridor is quite a good place to do it.
Really? Because that's where a lot of people
I
walk.
don't want you disrupting my lesson.
Sorry. With his arm outstretched towards the door, I guess all I can really do is take my cue and accept my fate. Wow. Sunlight beams through the windows, lining the walls ahead as my eyes trace their way down the corridor. No signs of life anywhere beside the world outside. It's been about 15 minutes now, considering that Mr. Kamura explicitly told me to wait a minute before he'd come out to scold me. I could justify leaving. Having chosen to lean behind the protrude wall adjacent to the class door, nobody would notice me. Lifting my phone out of my pocket and bringing it to my face, to face my eyes, sorry. The time is a clear sign that nobody's coming for me anytime soon. Early lunch it is. Finding the cafeteria sparse and unpopulated is eerie to say the least. This vision, though, I can't help but think it's truthful. It's only really used by students once a day. The morning sun casts itself on the smooth tables across the hall, only really highlighting how much I appreciate its light. Probably a bit too much, but for one thing, we wouldn't have photosynthesis without it. Kiyoko would be proud. Whilst I'm here, I may as well make the most of it. Knowing that the staff stock up the vending machines right before lunch, maybe I could grab something decent before they're all sold out. It might not be a 100% Welsh beef sandwich, but it's not as if our own national cuisine isn't worth the cost of a few hundred yen, even if it comes wrapped in plastic. Reaching my hand out towards the machine, another quickly reaches out before me, slapping a button at random right before my eyes. There goes my money. Naomi.
Hi!
Well, greetings. How are you today? Out of the machine drops a small box of chocolate-coated biscuit sticks, far from what I wanted. What do you think I am, some sort of Japan-crazed foreigner?
Really? I don't care what you are.
Thanks.
Who in the world would put any thought over you? You're nothing but a loser.
For her to be here for one, she would. By the look on her face, I don't think she's particularly happy with my choice to favour Kiyoko over her. Nevertheless, I've been wanting to speak to her anyway, from Kyoko's own words. The two of them once held a friendship together. If I'm going to make her happy, I need to know exactly what their past is. Naomi's the only way to do that.
Anyway, how was the science club? I hope you enjoyed it after snubbing me yesterday.
Look, we don't have any attachments to you, so why should we be concerned about quote-unquote snubbing you? I didn't snub you, considering you were the one who wants to drag me out.
That's because it was important.
That's because it was important. Okay, Naomi. Well, you could have told me.
Didn't I make it clear enough? You know, you're the type of guy to go out and put fence panels up when there's a typhoon.
I don't get what you mean.
I mean, you're an idiot.
I guess that makes sense. Still, I couldn't just leave Kiyoko like that. Do you know what it feels like to be left alone?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, really now? Maybe we could get more to the bottom of this. Peering towards Naomi's face, a sunken expression lays across it as tears sat upon her crystal eyes. To see her this way, maybe she too feels the same as Kiyoko. A girl hurt by her past. Just what exactly that past is, it's something I'll have to find out.
So, I guess I should probably tell you now, right?
Probably is an understatement. After my discussion with Kiyoko, the entire issue has been floated around my mind. Prior to that, even after just meeting Kiyoko, her past relationship with Naomi has been made manifest right before my eyes. Henceforth, after this moment, I'd have truly ingrained myself between the lives of these two. Joining the science club was far enough, but hearing what Naomi has to say is bound to make me a part of this. She wouldn't want to tell me otherwise. She wouldn't need to. I'd like to hear it.
Fine. It's not like I don't want you to know. Things weren't always like this between us.
Naomi's peering eyes look onwards as she continues to speak, face sullen. Seeing her like this, it's hard to align myself with the thoughts I'd once had of her. From the beginning, I only assumed Kiyoko has been affected, but as I stare at her now, I know that it's not the case. Turning to the machine beside us, Naomi slides in 2 coins into it and presses the button closest to me. The sweet bun I was after.
You could have this. I'll take these. It's a long story.
That's what Kiyoko said, it was a long story, or something similar like that. Holding up the snack she'd spent my money on, Naomi takes one out as she continues talking, her clear-cut digestion not stifling her appetite. It's a contrast to her usual persona, but I can't say it's unwelcomed. Given the situation, I can say that I'm seeing a side of her not many people get to witness.
I just can't bear to face her normally.
Okie dokie.
I want to be myself again.
That is definitely a rare sight. Naomi's eyes drop towards the floor as she stares at her feet, moving them about uncharacteristically, rather the character I'd come to know, the one that strangled me. Seeing her like this, hearing the woe in her voice, is a sight which brews sympathy through my now fast-beating heart. It's not time for jokes any longer. What exactly happened between you two?
You know, I'm the captain of the athletics team, right? It's not just track.
Okay. Of course I'd known. Everyone in the school practically does. Naomi, a track superstar around here, micromanages pretty much every sports club in the school, out of her own accord, that is. Her own duty, however, is chairing the athletics squad. It's something she's good at, considering the number of titles the team has won.
We lost a member not too long ago. An important one to me.
Kiyoko? But what was the cause of that? Wincing at my words, Naomi shoots her eyes up towards me as her tears sparkle in the light now greeting her face. Her reaction is enough to validate my own assumption. Despite having the figure for it, even if I wasn't supposed to see, it's a surprise to think Kiyoko was on the athletics team.
I just can't bear to face her normally. I want to be myself again.
Didn't you just say that? Her reputations, her words, her emotions flowing out from within. I can't really dispute the emotions clouding the situation. Naomi standing across is truly recalling something she's kept to herself all this time. Her voice, her expression, her breathing. She's wanted somebody else to enter the phase for a long time. Long before I, or the MC, wants to get to know Kiyoko better. All of it sells a true sense of grief. But coming to terms with what their bond once was is going to be hard for me, an outsider. I'm guessing she left then. She's in a science club now, right? Rather than being a proper club, it's really just the two of us using the lab after school. Moreover, just me just watching her play around with her experiments. For her to leave quite an established squad of girls just to sit in a room on her own with some test tubes, her dedication to science must have gotten the best of her. But I still wouldn't explain why they're so upset. Surely she would have to explain why she left the club.
Kyoko's always liked science. She didn't leave. She was kicked out.
But you're the captain. Are you saying you did it?
Of course not. Just because I'm the captain doesn't mean I control the club. It's managed by the sports board. They did it.
Yup. Despite not knowing what the sports board is, it's something that seems believable enough coming from her. So, did she do something to cheat throughout the sports? Rather than cheating in academics, she cheated in the sports. Despite not knowing what the sports world is, it's something that seems believable enough coming from her. The teardrops swelling her eyes are enough to say she isn't lying. This is her true self, and all I can do is accept her. This isn't easy for her, and seeing her so sorrowful isn't exactly easy for me too. Tears don't suit her, so why was she kicked out? Now we're getting to the cause of all this. Naomi, swallowing spit to restrain her nervousness, looks away at the question. As we continue to mull over the situation, the emotions within her continue to brew deep inside her heart.
We cheated. We helped her win.
That's partially your fault, isn't it, Naomi?
There was a race at another school, so we messed up their kids. We just wanted to help her win. We really did. But they found out. We told them it wasn't her fault. They didn't believe us. She was banned from competition and kicked from our club after that.
So many words, yet so little time to take them in. Naomi and Kiyoko's other clubmates had wanted her to win, but they clearly chose one way to support her. Yeah, ultimately it was you who did it. Despite Naomi's sullen face before me, I still can't deny that I feel a little bit peed off. Do you know how much that hurt her? She was supposed to be your friend.
You think I don't know that? I was her friend. Her best friend. Now, it's nothing. You think I don't hate myself enough? I tried to apologize, but an apology isn't enough for something like that.
If you want to support your friends, no matter where they come, if you do things the right way, then everything will work out. But if you try to play the system, then this kind of catastrophe would occur. Gosh. Naomi's cheeks now shine in the glow of the vending machine, soaked by her very tears. I may be irritated, but a sight like this just wells sympathy within me. It's clear to her what she did. Standing here and confessing the truth to me can only hurt her more. Having to face the truth about her bonds with Kiyoko, the two girls mutually hurt by her actions. If that's the case, why are you so hostile to Kiyoko? Why did you want me away from her?
It was upsetting.
Because Naomi finds me as the MC, as the replacement.
Seeing you with her? Seeing that she made a new friend?
Thought so.
I'm sorry.
Lifting her head, Naomi points her moist eyes my way. A desolate look beams from her tears. She was jealous?
Kiyoko wouldn't talk to me after the race. She wouldn't listen to my apologies, my pleas. But she became friends with you. It hurt me.
But shouldn't you be happy for her? But of course your emotions override logic sometimes. Hearing her say that, I can't blame her. To be replaced by someone else after trying so hard to mend the wounds she inflicts upon their relationship with her very hands. I can't imagine that feeling. I wouldn't be surprised if Kiyoko is somehow knowing what we're talking about. Pulling out yet another chocolate-coated stick, Naomi scoffs it in an instant, almost to soothe over her pain, coating it with that very chocolate.
Please. I want you to help me.
I'd rather just stick to this bun. Not that.
these.
Exactly.
These are mine. I want you to help with Kiyoko.
My mistake. Nevertheless, Naomi's passion raises up through her previous woo, her heart speaking out to me. If she's really asking for my help, it'd be a stretch to say she hates me for being Kiyoko's friend. Rather, she sees me more as an equal. What do you want me to do exactly?
I want you to change her opinion of me, so she'll talk again.
How am I supposed to do that? I wouldn't know. Neither do I know Naomi's true objective here. Then again, I'm really the only person she can rely on. Kiyoko doesn't speak to anyone else, and talking to the teachers about it would be a bit weird. I mean, I could try, but it wouldn't be as easy as, "Hey, how about that Naomi girl?" She's not going to be that talkative. Just mentioning Naomi to her causes Kiyoko to well up similar feelings to the ones I see before me. Her bright, happy smile downcast with misery over the old bonds these two girls once shared. To get her to talk again, let alone to become friends with Naomi once more, it won't be an easy talk. Naomi too is standing ahead with her cheeks still dampened. Holds just ask much to their past as Kyoko's does. I'll find a way.
You'll help me?
Despite how she's treated me, despite her outward persona, Naomi's sensitivity not only shears her very heart, but mine too. After all, she was Kyoko's friend.
I knew you would. You can't resist spending time with a girl like me.
Wiping her tears from her eye. Okay, that's not the reason, okay? I just don't like seeing people unhappy. Wiping tears from her eyes, Naomi makes an attempt to perk up to her usual self. She might be a little bite to her, but at the end of the day, I can't bring myself to hate her. Don't you mean she might be a little bite to me? Maybe I enjoy spending time with her after all.
Thank you.
Looking at me with a smile is a pair of words I didn't think I'd hear her say. Seeing her like this, seeing her inner self, I can't refrain from appreciating her beauty, yeah.
Anyway, just eat your bread and vamoose. People might see us together.
And would that be a bad thing? Vamoose? What about Kiyoko? How am I supposed to tell you how things go with her?
I don't know. You're in the science club, use your head.
Now you're depicting us as one of the smart ones. I already told you that I just stand there and watch as Kiyoko does her experiments. That doesn't necessarily make me clever. I'm not Kiyoko. You could just give me your number and I could text you. Judging by the look on her face, I don't think she approves of the idea.
Of course you want my number.
It's an easier way to send the information out, you know, the updates and anything like that.
Fine, have it. You'll need it anyway. Give me your phone. I'm not going to do anything with it.
Really? Still talking her words with a grain of salt, I said he passed her my phone, tapping away at the screen. Naomi still holds that same disgusted look. I've never had a... Yeah, that's a definite picture you can put. I've never had a sweaty girl give me her number before. Her gym kit is enough to suggest that she's just finished training, surprising considering it's the middle of the day.
Ew. Has any girl given you their number before?
Yeah, Kiyoko has.
I bet you haven't even had a girlfriend either.
And I bet you've actually probably had to have a BF. Naomi's words sting my soul, a sign that things are starting to return to normal between us. All I could do is accept her jab as if I want to help Kiyoko, and reluctantly her too. What about you? Have you ever had a boyfriend? Exactly! Reflects the same question back. That doesn't mean I can't throw my own back. Her face glows a shade of rose as she averts her eyes away to the side before returning them with a sharp glare.
So what if I haven't?
So you can't just exactly say that question to us if you too can answer with the same outcome.
Why would I waste my time with someone like you when I could be training?
What do I have to do with it?
Nothing. Just shut up. Tell me how things go with Kiyoko.
Turning away with a huff, Naomi walks off towards the canteen's doors just as the lunch bell hits. She sure timed that perfectly. Regardless, reflecting on our discussion really highlights the mammoth of a task set upon me. but it's something I'm willing to do. Having spoken to her one-to-one, Naomi's inner feelings have been shown to me, something I don't think she lets many other people see. Inside, I really want to help them. I want to see them smile again. And now we're back here.
We're finished.
Sure are. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That is definitely a mammoth of a bit of dialogue that we got there. We kind of did have a grasp on what happened, but it's just getting the itty-gritty, nitty details down to know exactly what happened. It would have to be along the lines of something that would be like a separation between the two friends. And then from there, as best friends, Kiyoko refused to talk with Naomi because Kiyoko is smart enough to find out that Naomi swapped clothing. But then again, what exactly would swapping clothing do when it comes to actually finishing? Because you're the same person who actually performed the athletics race or the activity that it was that you competed in. So swapping clothes would make little difference. Anyways, folks, thank you all so much for watching, and see you all in the next time of Chemically Bonded. Have a wonderful day and take care of yourselves.